Welcome to the online gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock. I'm Rebecca Retzel. I'm on the Worship Arts Committee and a member of the church. I am so excited to be broadcasting to you today from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock. Because of the global pandemic, our church leadership made the decision to close our doors last March. It was a responsible act of love, an act to keep each other safe. For many of us, it has been months since we walked through these doors. For some, those of you joining us from far away, or some of you who perhaps have started your journey with UUCLR during this pandemic period of online services, maybe today will be the first peek inside the building we call UUCLR. I know that a building is not a church, that it is so much more than that, but this is a sacred space. It is a space that means so much to different people for different reasons. It is the perfect place to start our August worship series. As we go through these doors today, I start with our opening words that may be familiar to those of you who pay attention to your Outer Circle newsletter. Words from Edwin Markham, a poem entitled Outwitted. He drew a circle that shut me out. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. Enter with me today in the spirit of worship. So here we are in the hallway, the ramp that goes to Thompson Hall, our fellowship hall. The year 2020 marks UUCLR's 70th anniversary, and as part of that celebration, the month of August will be celebrating the voices of these people pictured here behind me. These are the past ministers of this congregation. They have served the church throughout the decades. I, for one, have walked up and down this hallway 100 times. I have looked into their eyes. I know their names, but I have never heard their voices. Today, August 2nd, is the first Sunday in a series we're calling Voices Past through Voices Present. Each week, our service content will come directly from UUCLR services from a previous decade. Words from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, which still carry meaning and relevance for us today. Current church members will bring voice to these words living in our archives. Now, please keep in mind that content from the archives will, whenever possible, be presented and read exactly as it was written. You may or may not notice words, phrases, expressions, gendered terms, such things that perhaps we may no longer use today in our personal lives, but also at UUCLR and the wider UUA. If words or phrases like this catch your attention, I invite you to reflect on them, to reflect on how far we've come, and perhaps how far we have yet to go. I hope you will join us each week as we journey through the decades. August 9th and 16th will be in the 60s with Reverend Richard Kelly and Reverend Fred Campbell. On August 23rd, there will be a collaborative service with our youth and the 1970s and Reverend Gerald Sylvester. On August 29th, we will explore intentional community. The message will come from Reverend Jean Rickard and be tied into the renovation that's currently happening in our space. Before I go any further, there is major thanks due for the people who've been preparing our archives. To Karen Walls, to Sue McDonald, and to Valerie McNee, who have spent countless hours digging things out of boxes, rummaging through the basement, sorting, scanning, identifying people, faces, names. There is a whole process that feeds into creating such an archive. For a church to have an organized, digitized archive is truly exceptional. 2 years or more of their hard work, and probably others that I am not including, have gone into creating such a resource to help us understand the richness and depth of our past. I couldn't think of a better 70th anniversary present. Thank you to all of those who have supported this project. Now, today's service has no formal sermon, but instead will contain a variety of content directly from the 1950s. As a history reminder, UUCLR began as a Unitarian fellowship. It was not until the 60s that it merged with the Universalists. So you may catch that in some of the titles throughout some of the content of the readings. We will light our chalice today as we do most Sundays. We light our chalice today in honor of the 5 principles listed in the order of service as it was in 1950. It states, the Unitarian churches are founded upon individual freedom of belief, discipleship to advancing truth, the democratic process in human relationships, universal brotherhood, undivided by nation, race, or creed, and allegiance to the cause of a united world community. Today I light our chalice in honor of our principles. The 7 we carry today, the 5 they carried in 1950, and the unknown number we may carry into the future.
Good morning. I'm Laurie Smith Prudhomme. Each week at UUCLR, we say an affirmation of covenant together to connect as a community of faith. Today, if you choose, I invite you to speak out loud the words spoken by the Unitarian Fellowship of Little Rock on October 15, 1950. These words were written by John Haynes Holmes from the New York City Community Church. Unto the Church Universal, which is the depository of all ancient wisdom and the school of all modern thought, which recognizes in all prophets a harmony, in all scriptures a unity, and through all dispensations a continuity, which adjures all that separates and divides, and always magnifies brotherhood and peace, which seeks truth in freedom, justice in love, and individual discipline in social duty, and which shall make of all sects, classes, nations, and races one fellowship of man. Unto this church, and unto all its members, known and unknown throughout the world, we pledge the allegiance of our hands and hearts. And now, a congregational announcement from the same service entitled, Towards an Arkansas Society of Unitarians. As evidence of increasing interest in liberal religion, upwards of 60 Unitarian fellowships in all parts of the country have sprung up during the past 2 years. A number of these newly formed groups are in adjoining states, in addition to well-established, some of them long-established, Unitarian churches in such cities as New Orleans, Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Memphis. Unitarian church membership has increased by 22% in the last 10 years. Long belated, the time seems propitious for a liberal religious effort in Arkansas. In every sizable Arkansas community, many persons, because of their liberal religious convictions, feel somewhat out of step with the established churches. Such persons are potential Unitarians. Many, as soon as they understand Unitarian beliefs and principles, declare themselves adherents of the Unitarian faith. Others, knowing themselves to be Unitarian, have long felt the need for a local organization. Recently, persons from several Arkansas communities have begun the work of organizing the Arkansas Society of Unitarians. By this means, when the society comes into being, we would extend to isolated religious liberals throughout the state and to Unitarian groups of 10 or more persons as they are formed, the opportunity of joining together for mutual inspiration and assistance. Serving as temporary officers of the society until its organization is completed and an election held are Dr. E.E. Cordry of Cabot, President, Leroy Berry of Little Rock, Vice President, and Felix Arnold of Little Rock, Leader, with the assistance of attorneys John Marable and J.B. Millam of Benton, and other Arkansas citizens. We expect soon to announce a meeting at which the final steps in organizing the society will be taken. In planning a statewide association of Unitarians, we follow a plan similar to one used not long ago, successfully, in North Carolina. Your interest is appreciated, your suggestions and help invited.
Hi, my name's Carrie Locke,
Hey, my name's Harris Locke.
and we're here today to share a responsive reading from 1950, which was written with selected texts from Persian, Chinese, Buddhist, and Roman scripts. It is entitled Brotherhood.
Have the religions of mankind no common ground?
Is there not everywhere the same enrapturing beauty shining forth from numberless hidden places?
Whatever road we take joins the highway that leads to the eternal one.
The true doctrine consists solely in integrity of heart, and trusting one's neighbors as one wishes to be treated by others. If one does this, he will not fail to come near the perfect life.
The path of duty is near, yet men seek it afar off. The way is wide, it is not hard to find.
To the good, be good. To the evil, also be good. Recompense injury with kindness.
The object of all religions is alike. All men seek the object of their love, and all the world is love's dwelling.
Why talk of shrines and temples? He is a true shrine whose heart is pure, and he is a true temple whose life is true.
Overcome anger by love, overcome greed by liberality, overcome falsehood by truth, and evil by good.
Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love. This is an old rule.
The universe is one great city full of friends, divine and human by nature.
All thinking beings have been made one for the other.
They owe patience one toward another, for all have one and the same nature.
The eternal, universal, unchangeable law of all beings is to seek the good of one another, like children of the same Father.
We jump back to 2020 momentarily with a reminder that Reverend Jan is on sabbatical the month of August. Please send any caring concerns that you have to Carrie Locke, lay minister of our congregation, or be in touch with the office. Also, please watch your email this month for updates, announcements, caring concerns, and any celebrations that we might have. Most of those will be sent through our office this month. Keeping with our theme, however, we have some bulletin announcements from 1954. Please take a look at these, of course, to note any upcoming events, the new members, also a call to join committees, which still stands today. If you are still in possession of any of these missing books, please return them to the church library as soon as possible. And also we share a special report from 1953 from the Arkansas Society of Unitarians. The disbursements this year were $26 with receipts of $23 and leaving us with a balance of $10.10 for the year. Our finances have changed just slightly in the year 2020, and we bring you a special announcement now.
Good morning. I'm Rich Roy. I serve on the facilities team and as a member of the choir. Today, I will be reading some excerpts of letters written by Felix Arnold on behalf of the Arkansas Society of Unitarians and the Unitarian Fellowship of Little Rock. Felix Arnold helped to establish a Unitarian Fellowship in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1949, and then came to Little Rock to support establishing a fellowship here. While he seems to have been a very key player in the formation of what would become UUCLR, we can tell from his own writings and the letters written about him that he was a spirited, sometimes controversial character who pushed for change and progress at an accelerated rate. The following is from a letter written to the Arkansas Society of Unitarians on December 15, 1950. Members and friends, the season's greetings and best wishes from each to all. By Christmas of our first year, according to promise, we made a report of our effort thus far. Our report is good. thanks to the many of you who have given your encouragement and support. The Jewish congregation has befriended us by giving us a meeting place. The president of the Little Rock Ministerial Alliance has set an encouraging precedent in our favor by serving us on November 19 as a guest speaker. The Arkansas Gazette has given us good press, publishing a feature article concerning our president, Dr. E.E. Cordray, as well as news from time to time about our speakers and meetings. And religious liberals, not only in Arkansas, but as far away as Massachusetts and California, Wisconsin, Texas, Tennessee, and New Mexico, have had a part in our plans and efforts. Truly, this has been a fellowship of interest and of labor. As a beginning unit, we have worked through the usual problems associated with organizing a group of persons strange to each other. With one or two exceptions, none of us had met each other previously. Only our Secretary-Treasurer, Mrs. J. Paul Craig, has ever held membership in a Unitarian church, though our President has for many years been a member of the Church of the Larger Fellowship. We have worked together most congenially from the first, however, in formulating our purpose, in adopting our Constitution, electing officers, planning, and conducting our meetings, and so on. Now we are affiliated with the American Unitarian Association, and our petition for incorporation under the laws of Arkansas as a statewide religious association awaits action by the Circuit Court. We have done considerable advertising in the newspapers to inform the unchurched of Unitarian principles and beliefs. And we have held 10 religious meetings, counting one planned for this coming Sunday. We anticipate a visit to Arkansas by Monroe Husbands, Fellowship Director of the American Association, in January. While in Arkansas, Mr. Husbands will speak to the Little Rock Fellowship and will meet with interested persons in Fayetteville to hold a religious service and canvass the possibilities of organizing a fellowship there. What we accomplish of most significance may be the least noticeable and likely to pass without mention. Most of us, for instance, are persons who, though religious, have not for a long while been wholeheartedly active in any other church group. Some who have had nothing to do with churches ever, or for many years, now attend our meetings, take part in our services, and find it possible to express themselves in word and deed freely with sincerity. Such fellowship is our happy experience at this our first Christmas. Sincerely, Felix Arnold. Excerpts from a letter written by Felix Arnold reporting on the Unitarian Fellowship of Little Rock on June 8, 1951. It is addressed to Monroe Husbands, the Fellowship Director of the American Unitarian Association, which was located in Boston, Massachusetts. Dear Monroe, this is a sort of informal report which I make at the end of our first year. As you know, we have had the usual growing pains, particularly over the problem of composing our honest differences of opinion. Serious disagreements, however, have been settled in each case democratically. In one instance, there were very heated exchanges between several members of the fellowship, and this may have resulted in some hurt feelings. These particular hurts, I hope, will heal before fall. The man at the Gazette's city desk, after our news release was in, asked me by phone 3 questions. How many members in our group? How many attended the meeting? Did Unitarians themselves worship on Sundays? Our stand on the Sunday blue laws has, as of now, brought us but 3 new members and $7 in donations, and altogether, but 6 or 7 complimentary letters, none uncomplimentary, probably we shall have to stand up and be counted on several public issues before we receive the support that I am anxious for us to deserve. But whether we stand up in the future as a group will be a matter for the group to decide. Since there was opposition to our taking a stand on the Sunday Blue Law, I offered during the week following to resign as leader at the next Sunday's meeting, subject to decision by the majority present. The decision by the group was by inaction. They did not accept or even discuss my offer. At present, I expect to continue in my office and not to offer again to resign. Of this spring's activities, only a picnic remains to be held, probably at Professor Cordry's farm, since he has invited us and since no other picnic plans have been discussed by the group in recent meetings. I hope there will be other outings during the summer. In general, we've had a good year. The hardest thing we have attempted has been to disagree now and then agreeably. But I feel we'll arrive next year at a decision, tacitly anyway, to rise above personalities in our disagreements. In that case, the group need have no loss of present members and might reasonably expect the cooperation of members who for some time have been inactive. If we have been more conscious of our pains than of our growing, a little time for reflection will be good for us, especially, I feel, for yours truly. Thank you for playing Solomon on more than one occasion. Sincerely, Felix Arnold. And P.S. My best wishes for a pleasant summer for all.
Thank you for joining us in today's service. Thank you to everyone who participated. We leave you with closing words, not the ones that we normally share each week together, but the ones that they used in the 1950s during the fellowship services. May the virtue and benediction of this fellowship remain with us. And from our humble and grateful receiving, may strength and blessing extend to many hearts and to all mankind. We are thinking of you as the week goes forward. As always, stay safe, stay strong, and we'll see you next week in the 1960s.